Hello! I'm going to be working on another game jam today. This is a 6-day game jam, but this is the last day because I did not know I was going to be joining it. But I have an idea, and I keep telling myself, I can just do the idea another time. I'm like, just do the idea. So I'm going to do that audacity I did with Pixie Picker and do another game called Spooky Scarecrows. I might change the name, but right now that's the name I'm going with. And we're going to make a drag and drop game. And for this game, this is a game idea I have had for actually years. If I remember in the edit, I will take pictures of old concept sketches from like 2017, I want to say. I'm not exactly sure. It was a long time ago, at least 6-7 years ago. And all it is you have a scarecrow base, and then you, let's just put some eyes here, and then you drag to the face, or you can get like a little hat, you can drag to the head. It's literally a dress-up game for scarecrows. And I love scarecrows, I love ragdolls, I love all of that like autumny, comfy, cozy things that is autumn. I'm not big on Halloween. I didn't grow up with Halloween or anything. However, I do like things in Halloween. Like I love jack-o'-lanterns. I mean, everyone likes candy. Some ghosts are cute. I just don't like the glorification of like demonic stuff and like blood and gore. I don't like any of that. But like the cutesy stuff, like the little monsters and stuff that when they make them cute and not like violent and stuff, that stuff's fun. I like that. I just don't like the gory demonic stuff. So yeah, we're just gonna watch me write down my thoughts, and then I'm going to get into doing the game loop before I make the art, because this game should be easy to make. I've already done Fluffertini's Pizza Constructor, so let's just see how it goes. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a lovely holiday season. In this video, I'm gonna talk about my game I made for Screen Jam, a Halloween game jam. I'm editing this the week before Christmas. This is fine. As usual, when I plan out a project, I do it on paper. I'm not a traditional game design document girly. I don't like digital documents. I don't know if it's just a me thing or growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, but paper is just better for me than digital things. The planning stage pretty much consists of me jotting down my basic idea and also doing some doodles. This part doesn't take too long since I don't know everything I need to do until I start. And I see, oh, this idea is harder than it sounds. Wonderful, love that for me. Isn't that great? I do this a lot, by the way. Don't do what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing my best, okay? I am in my lane. I am moisturized. I'm trying to flourish. I'm doing my best, okay? In a game jam, that's all the planning is. For a bigger game, I put a lot more effort into it. But since the game's so small and it has to change on a whim because I have to be able to immediately make decisions, I don't go too deep in the planning. I just put my basic idea and then I let the idea turn into what it needs to be. Alright. Okay, so I've done my, I guess you'd call it a game design document, but it's on paper. I think better with paper than I do with typing it out. So the game is called Spooky Scarecrows. It's a drag and drop game where you dress up scarecrows. And this is like the basic thing. I know what I want the background to look like. I know everything but what I want the UI here to look like. I don't know if I want it to be wood or if I want it to just be floating there. I haven't decided how I'm gonna place the assets here. I'll see once I get like the main thing going how I want to make it look. I want to do like one asset for some corn and like put a bunch of corn like in the background and then put sway on it so the corn can like sway in the background, and then make it kind of like half transparency so it's not taking away from the actual scarecrow. So we have that. And I decided I'll do 3 sleeves, 3 torsos, 5 eyes, 3 hats, 3 noses, and 3 heads. Now, I might cut that in half. It depends on how much time I have. Depends on the game loop. If the game loop, because I've done a drag and drop game before, but I want to do it a little different than I did the first time. If I get the game loop to work in like an hour or 2, I have time to do this. If I can not get it done that quick, I will have to cut something. And it will probably be the noses. It'll just come with a default nose, because that takes away 3 assets. And then torso. I would love to have like patches and different decorations you could put on it and stuff. I don't have time for all of that. So each torso will have like different things on it. Unless I could like come up with a way to like change it, and I could like just put torso and then just select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or have like little arrows or something. I don't know. I'll figure all that out later. But this is all the game is. It's very simple. Just like Pixie Picker, it's very simple. The idea is simple. I've done something similar to it before. Just not for a game jam. But this is my idea, and then to do is I need to make the game loop. The menus are last. Assets, sounds, music. Sounds, I can make those in the... What's it called? I don't remember what it's called. The thing that is built into GDevelop. I can do it with that. Music, I just look up copyright-free music. I don't have time to make music. I'm not even good at making music, so... Music's the one thing I always just don't bother with game jams. There's no point. So I should be able to get this done by tomorrow. And the perk about this one is today is Tuesday. It is not Saturday, so I don't have to wake up at 5 in the morning and rush to get it done by 10. If I wake up whenever I wake up, all I have to do is get up and work on it till it's done. So I have time. I actually have some extra time, especially since I'm starting at 1 p.m. So let me just start working on it. The features of this game are pretty simple in concept. All the eyes, noses, mouths, hats, hair, and arms are movable, so drag and drop. You have the ability to rotate, resize, and flip all movable assets. And there are cycle through menus for the heads and the torsos, as well as some of the other features of the face. That's pretty much all of the real things you need to do in this game. It's not a very complicated game, it's just a dress-up game. So that worked in my favor to get done quickly, so I was able to have lots of assets. I think at the end, I ended up with 80-something assets to choose from, which when you think of combinations, you have nearly endless combinations. So I was happy with that, but I'll get into the art later. The hardest feature was getting the arrow buttons to all work right and toggling the UI. It was a lot of work to make sure that everything worked right. It didn't cross paths with something else, because making games can be picky like that. But I managed to get it to work, and in case anyone is curious who uses GDevelop, because that's the engine I use, the way I cycled through, let's say the heads for example, what I did was I made all of the art in a single file. I use a sprite, so that way everything would be the same size, and then when I imported them, I made them all one object, and then I just cycled through the animation. So it would change the animation each time, since that animation doesn't have to be more than 1 frame. And that's how I did it. Instead of having, let's say I had 9 heads, I believe. Instead of having 9 objects, I had 1 object with 9 pictures inside of it. It also makes the game smaller. I believe I used a number variable. I don't remember exactly, but there are different ways to do the cycle through button. But for the actual object, it's just 1 object per feature, except for the arms. The arms was a special case because you need to have 2. And I wanted people to be able to have the option of having more than 2 if they wanted. So that was just a pure spawn and drag. The keybinds were also a little time consuming, making sure that things worked right and didn't break something else. But overall, the features weren't too hard. The only feature I wish I could have added, but didn't know how, and still don't by the way, is dragging a new object from an image object and just like drag and drop instead of clicking spawn and then drag and drop. I don't know how to do that smooth transition dragging. I have not figured that out yet. I figured it out by accident once, but then I didn't write down what I did, so I still don't know how to do it. So, whoopsie doodles on that. But if I could have gone out to work, the game would have been far more customizable. People could have used noses as eyes and mouths as eyebrows and all kinds of things. But I couldn't get that to work, so it's okay. I'm still happy with how the game turned out. So let's look at this for a minute here. So I've set up some stuff so I can like keep track. The eyes, the nose, and the mouth will spawn at a spawn point, and then you can move them around. The head will have arrow keys. You can like switch the head, and then the torso will have arrow keys, and you can switch the torso. The arms, you only get one arm, but you can rotate them. This is the keys. I'll assign that to. I have this kind of in my main project. Anything else? And all of this is all things that I decided to. What is this? What is this? This down here, this is the size that the images can be, the max size. Let me just show you this monstrosity that I've created to see how this looks. This absolute monstrosity. I just wanted to kind of see like what I can do, because I wanted to be able to have you have the arms out, but you can like rotate them. So the max length it can be out, I needed to know, because like, you know, people might want to do poses or something, I don't know. But the max size, that's the max size, because I want there to be some room at the edge. So I'm gonna work on assets. I think what I'll do first is the background, because that'll be the hardest thing to do. And then after that, I will just work on making all the assets and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, this is it. This monstrosity right here is something else. But I hope people like this simple little game. It's a game jam game. I could have made it way cooler if I would have done this at the start like I wanted to, but I've been going through a lot of personal garbage right now, so I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it at all. So we're doing the game in a day trash for the third time, but we got this. It's going to be fine. So let's just start making art. All the art was made in Aseprite, besides a few things I made in GIMP, which I think was only the gradient for the background, as well as the buttons with text. I don't remember how I made the logo. I think that was also GIMP. I also don't remember if the arrow buttons were made in Aseprite or in GIMP. I honestly don't remember. You will see on the screen if I have footage for that, but as of right now, recording this voiceover, I have no memory of how I made those triangle buttons. The first thing I made was the background. I wanted it to look more interesting than just a scarecrow in a stationary scene, so I made a corn plant object and put it in the scene with different sizes. You can resize stuff manually when you place things. And gave the corn the sway behavior and used the blur effect. So it can look like you're in a moody cornfield making a scarecrow. I just thought that would look nice and better than just plop it in the middle and just hope for the best. For the faces, I picked a standard round face in a peachy tone and a more brown tone. Then 2 pumpkins, a watermelon because it sounded fun and reminded me of Gravity Falls. An onion because why not? I think I might have been inspired by Layers Deep. I think I might have just watched an interview of the guy who's working on Layers Deep with Thomas Brush, and he's making an onion character. That might have been why I made an onion. I'm not positive on the timeline on that, but if not, it was just because. I don't remember. And I also added a witchy head, a vampire head, and a Frankenstein's monster head. I don't really do Halloween, but I figured since it's a more Halloween themed jam, I needed more than just pumpkins and a normal scarecrow, so I added some monsters too, because why not? I made some fun bodies with different colors and patterns, and then I also made 8 different arms 6 different hats, 6 different hairstyles with 2 colors to pick from, 18 eye sets, 10 noses, and 12 mouths. All draggable, rotatable, and resizable besides the torso and the heads. The logo was an interesting experience. Like I said, I don't remember how I made it. I think I made it in GIMP. And I think it was a little bit of a trip because GIMP automatically has anti-aliasing on. So you have to turn that off and you have to try to remember to use the pencil tool. So that way everything looks like pixel art, because I didn't want the logo to look sleek when the whole game is made out of pixel art. So that was an interesting experience. But other than that, it was actually pretty easy to make. I've made so many logos and things back in the day in GIMP. GIMP was my art program for about 12 years. So yeah, I'm pretty good with GIMP. I'm just not as good with like the pixel arty looking style with GIMP because I never really did that. But overall, art was fun. It was my favorite part. I love the art part of making games. I'm not a programmer. I never really aspired to be a programmer. Programming's for smart people, but if I want the games I want, I don't have money to pay a programmer, so I gotta figure it out. I am, at all intent and purposes, a game artist who needs to know how to program, not the other way around. But I am happy with how the game looks. I like the aesthetic of the game. If I had more time, I would have had even more options. Like I said, I think I had 80 plus assets to choose from. So that's fun. I could have done more if I had more time, honestly. You could have had hundreds of assets, but I started a day before. I'm pretty happy with 80 plus assets with a day to make this. As for finishing touches, I added sounds, which I made in Engine. I don't know how to pronounce the little thing they have embedded inside of it, but I made the sounds in Engine. I downloaded a nice little spooky song from Pixabay. It is linked in the itch.io page if anyone wants that song for themselves. And that music really pulled the game together. The game wasn't feeling, there felt like there was something missing, and then I added the music and I was like, ah yes, this is wonderful. Something about music to a game, when you've been looking at a game that's dull for so long, it just wakes up the game. It's wonderful. And of course, I had to make a menu and add the credits, and I had to make images for the itch.io page. And a tip, if you ever join a game jam, is try to get done at least an hour before the deadline, but I was done 2 hours before the deadline. Because when you're uploading a game jam game, it's possible something broke. And you don't want to upload a broken game that everyone says is broken and terrible, and then no one plays it, and then you feel like you've wasted your time. So you want to make sure it at least works before you submit it. You can upload a game as a draft and then check it out on itch, or you can upload it separately away from the game jam so you don't accidentally submit it. Make sure it's done, and you can just submit from your page a game that's live already. So please make sure you check before you submit a game, because once you submit a game, 99% of the time, even if you contact them, they will be like, no, you can't change it. I did that whole process, and then I added my images and I added my screenshots. I even made a graphic for all of the assets to show everyone all of the options. Be sure if you do something like that, you put a watermark over it a couple of times, because if you have a whole asset pack essentially in one spot, someone is going to eventually see it and download it and try and cut it out and then use their assets. So put watermark over it so it's not worth the time to fix. But other than that, that's the game. It's not a very complicated game, but I'm actually quite happy with it, and I think it's cute, and part of me does want to update it and add some more assets to it. And also there's one, it's not a bug, it's an overlook that I made it so if you don't see the hat or the hair, if you want like a bald one, that's the first image, is just an empty image, and you can move it around and it messes up with collisions. That's the only thing I fricked up on. Everything else worked great. But that's it, and now I'm going to show you the finished game and my ranking, which I'm going to say I think I did pretty good considering it's technically a horror jam, not a Halloween jam, and I didn't really do any horror. I just kind of stuck to cute Halloween. But yeah, here is the end result and my ranking. I did it with 29 minutes to go, and I spent all of that doing screenshots and stuff. They only don't let you change the actual game. You can upload screenshots and all that after. Oh, my wrists are killing me. Especially my right wrist, all the clicking. Oh, Lord. I am so tired. I am so incredibly tired. But I got it done with 30 minutes to spare, which is a miracle. Admittedly, the menu is not spectacular in any way. There's no tweens or anything. I just wanted it to get out into the wild. I just finished. Unlike the last devlog where I didn't record the finished thing till I was actually editing it. No, I just finished. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's the game. Go to credits. Just play game. Bodies. And then you can rotate. Change the size. You can flip. You can flip everything. Ooh, I'm tired. I do have a whole set here for the wizard looking outfit. So if you go to accessories, there's also a hat. And there are so many combinations you can do. Let me go to faces. You can size and twist and rotate and all of that for literally everything except for the torso and the head. And yeah, I am so tired, but I am proud of this. I have the page set up, and this is all the assets I made. I have a watermark over it so no one can steal them, but this is all the assets I made for it. I am so tired. I keep wanting to remind you that I am exhausted. So that is all the assets, and with this you have hundreds of combinations, literally. So I hope if you want to try it out, it will be linked in the description below. I do not know anything about the ranking. I literally just submitted it, and I will not probably edit this until after the ranking comes out, or I'll edit it and then just wait for the ending where I find out how I ranked. I don't expect to rank very high because it's called Scream Jam, and this isn't particularly scary, but it does follow like the autumnal spooky theme, so I hope that that counts for something. But yeah, so it is the 31st. It is Halloween. Ignore the running above me. That's the dog upstairs. And let's see how I did. So 560 entries. I got 180th place, which, considering I made this in basically a day, I can't really complain. It's better than I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to be way closer to last place. This makes sense. There's no story, and honestly, this should be lower because there's no story at all. And this probably should be lower because it's not scary. So I'm honestly surprised how high this is too. Aesthetics, that I did well in aesthetics, I would say, because it's not a horror game, so I expect it to not do well at all because it's not scary. So the fact that I went high in 3 out of 5, hey, I mean, I'll take it. I don't think that I did a bad job. So yeah, I got 180th overall place. And, out of 560, that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good. So, yeah. That's how good I did. I hope you found the rest of this video entertaining or enjoyable. And I will see you all later. Thank you all for watching. Bye!